It's already Thursday. Hard to believe here. We've been rocking for the last 3 or 4 days talking about growth for the next year and specifically creating a plan for the next year. I want to make sure that I'm intentional about the way I live my life. I don't want to wing it. You know, it's the difference in just flying by the seat of your pants versus having some kind of intent and thoughtfulness to what kind of life you're really trying to build with the people that you care about, people that you love the most, your family life, things that are going on outside of work. I'll give you permission here to think about work as well in your plan, but specifically, what do you want to be true outside of work in your life, and what are those areas that you want to grow? And we've identified the last couple of days some what we're calling domains here to help us, and I challenged you to really focus first to identify the domains, but to focus, maybe pick a word to focus each of those over the last quarter of the year here. But as you start thinking about the next year, what are some things that you need to do in those areas? And my question today for you is what specific actions can you take over the next 12 months to move you toward your preferred future? I say preferred future. Yesterday, we looked at this idea of 10 years out. What do we want to be true in these areas? And the areas, again, for me, I said spiritually, I want, I got some thoughts. I want to have a plan around that. Physically, so important. Emotionally, relationally, vocationally, yes, we can put work in there. But it's so important for us to have a plan. Financially, you might add. I would encourage you to give some thought to this, but specifically, what do you need to do over the next 12 months? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify 2 to 3 things in each area where I feel like I need to add that to my plan. And when I say my plan, there are some things that I do right now that are, they're second nature. I mean, they've become habits in my life, and that's great. But there are some places where there's some gaps and I need to add some habits. And so I would encourage you to think the same way. So I'll give you an example. If you're saying, I want to make sure that I'm sleeping the amount that I need to. Well, if you sleep 8 hours a night now and you have no trouble sleeping, you're not, you got everything kind of settled there and it's working. You probably don't need to add anything to enhance your sleep there to your plan. But if you're struggling with your rest, then you may need to, think through some things that go in your plan. Like, what kind of environment am I sleeping in? What's the temperature of the room? What's my bedding like? All that kind of stuff. You might need to do some evaluating here and maybe make some changes as you go into the next few months. Or physically, if you say I'm hydrating, at a high level the way I need to be, well, great. You probably don't need to add that to your plan. But if you're chronically dehydrated, like most people are, you may need to have some markers there that says I'm gonna drink this much every day. I think the recommended dosage there would be dosage. That's probably not the way to say it, but the recommended amount of liquid. That's probably not the way to say it either. We don't say liquid, water, right? We're not like there's some things you can drink full of sugars and sweets. That's not what you want. You want to be drinking water about 1 ounce for every 2 pounds you weigh every day. And so that would be something that you might need to add to your plan. You may not need to, you may need to. So you'll have to decide some of that. But what are 2 to 3 things that you could do, specific action steps that you could take in each of these areas? And there's a little bit of review here, but I just want to encourage you to think about what kind of life that you want and what are the things you're going to need to do if you're going to have that kind of life. And that would be true relationally. That'd be true with your money. That'd be true even with your job. Again, we don't talk job here a lot, but I just want to encourage you to really identify 2 or 3 things that you can do in each area. Put them in your plan. Let's go ahead and start thinking about that. And I joked a couple of days ago, I don't want to be putting a plan together, on New Year's Eve and thinking that I'm going to have a really great next year. I think we need to start thinking about this right now. It's we'll call it the preseason, right? These teams that I've been talking about winning, who are winning, they had a preseason, they had off season, they had training camp, they had all this kind of stuff. I think these next 3 months can be a great finish to this year, but I also think they can be a foundational preparation time for the next year. Ask ourselves what's working, what adjustments do we need to make? Again, what do we need to start or stop? Those are great questions for you to think about. And then get to a point where you say, okay, I'm going to put some tactical things I can do, put in my plan in each of these 5, 6 domains, however many you have. I would encourage you not to have too many, but you probably do have 4 or 5 of these life areas that are important to you. Pick 2 or 3 things in each area and let's add them to our plan and start doing those things. I think we'll make a habit out of some of those. They can become second nature as well. And I really do believe we can have the life that we want. We can be on a path toward our 10-year goal. And if you do that, man, that would make me really happy. So I think it'd make you happy too. And the people around you, if you start getting better, they'll all benefit. We know that. So let's see what we can do. Got one more day for you tomorrow. Help us continue to focus. Got a couple of more questions I'll give you. And then one key, I think, to the whole thing. So hope you'll join us for that. All right. Love you guys. Remember, winning begins at home.